Hi Sam. It's great to see you today. Are you ready to dive into another German word?
Hi Alex. Absolutely. What's the word for today?
Today, we're learning
nach,
this little word has a few important meanings. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, definitely. What does it mean?
nach,
Primarily means after or to when referring to directions. It's most commonly used to indicate a place, like when you're going to a city. But it can also mean according to.
That's interesting. Are there any false friends with?
nach,
Yes, it's important to note that.
nach,
Might be confused with the English word nach, which doesn't exist. So, be careful with that.
Got it. What about the grammar? How do we use
nach,
nach,
Is a preposition that requires the dative case. For example, you would say,
ich gehe nach Berlin.
which means I'm going to Berlin. The dative form of Berlin remains the same because it's a proper noun.
So, there's no changing the noun in this case.
Exactly. But if you were to use a common noun, you would change it. For example,
Ich gehe nach der Schule.
means I'm going after school. Here,
Der Schule.
is in the dative case.
That makes sense. What about using it in the past?
Good question. Since
Nach,
is a preposition, it doesn't conjugate like a verb, but you use it in sentences with verbs. For instance, you could say,
ich bin nach Hause gegangen.
which means I went home.
So you're using the verb
gehen,
in the past tense.
Exactly. The verb
Gehen,
becomes
gegangen.
imperfect.
What's the origin of
nach,
Nach,
Comes from Old High German
nah,
and has retained similar meanings throughout history. It's fascinating how this little word has stayed relevant over time.
That's really cool. I love learning about the roots of words.
Now let's break down.
nach,
It's a simple word without a prefix or suffix, but you can think of it as a direction. So, when you think of,
nach,
imagine going to a destination.
Easy enough. Are there any similar words?
Yes. Here are a few. First, we have,
nachkommen,
which means to follow. It combines
nach,
with.
kommen,
Next is
nachdenken,
meaning to think about. Then there's,
nachschauen,
which means to check. Also, consider,
Nachrichten,
meaning news.
Those are great. Any others?
Sure. How about,
nachfragen,
which means to ask about, and,
nachweisen,
meaning to prove. Finally, there's,
nachhaltig,
which translates to sustainable.
Wow, that's a lot of useful words.
Let's practice some real-life situations where you might use.
nach,
Imagine you're traveling. How would you start a sentence saying you're going to a city?
Maybe I could say,
Ich gehe nach München.
Perfect. Now, how about if you're discussing plans? You could say,
ich habe nach den Zeiten gefragt.
oh, that means I asked about the times.
exactly. And one more context, if you're at a restaurant, you could say,
Ich möchte nach der Rechnung fragen.
I see, that means I would like to ask for the bill.
great job. Now, let's talk about the gender of nouns with.
Nach,
Since it's a preposition, it doesn't have a gender itself, but when it's used with nouns, the gender of those nouns matters.
So in,
Nach der Schule. Schule.
is feminine, right?
Yes. And since it ends in, that's a common hint for feminine nouns.
What about usage notes? Is,
Nach.
formal or informal?
nach,
Can be used in both formal and informal contexts. Some typical collocations include
nach Hause, nach dem Essen, nach der Arbeit,
and.
nach dem Film.
Are there any commonly confused words?
Yes. Be careful not to mix up
Nach,
with,
vor,
which means before.
Can you give me some example sentences?
Sure. For instance,
ich gehe nach Berlin.
means I am going to Berlin. Another example is,
Nach dem Essen gehen wir spazieren.
which means after the meal, we go for a walk. You could also say,
Wir sind nach Hause gekommen.
meaning we came home.
I see how these sentences work together.
Now, let's do a quick recall check. What does
Nach,
mean?
It means after or to.
Correct. How do you use it with a noun?
It requires the dative case.
Good. Can you give me an example sentence with?
nach,
Sure.
Ich gehe nach der Schule.
Excellent. What's a word that combines with?
nach,
Nachdenken.
Right again. Finally, what's the gender of the noun in?
nach der Schule.
It's feminine.
Fantastic job today, Sam. So, to summarize, we learned that
Nach,
means after or to. It's a dative preposition, and it's used in various contexts.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate your help. I feel more confident using
nach.
now.
That's wonderful to hear. Keep practicing, and I can't wait to see what you'll learn next time.